Hello everyone, my name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. You'll have to pardon the background noise. I've got the windows open behind me. It's a gorgeous day outside. I closed the ones that are at the roadside because everybody in their obnoxiously loud cars are coming home right now. So let's get into the music of Genesis. This is Genesis the Hit. Turn It On Again, the hits. 18 wonderfully crammed tracks from Genesis, 2 from Peter Gabriel. One I should have read the liner notes on because it's not Phil Collins or Peter Gabriel singing it. I guess I'd say it's probably Mike. I'm not sure on that one. Anyways, pros and cons to this album right off the bat. Right off the bat, only 2 songs from the Peter Gabriel era. So it's kind of a bit of a downside for though not enough people get to experience or get introduced to the Peter Gabriel era that way. Couple too many slow songs on here for me, or the softer, mellower 80s stuff, the stuff that kind of kept Genesis alive through the 80s kind of deal. Not entirely. They actually had a lot of good different stuff, but you know, the radio friendly shit that you always heard everywhere. And they kind of mix everything up, which is kind of a bonus, you know. So like, there's no particular linear order in any of this at all. It's all over the place. And that's a benefit because that means you get to kind of get a little taste of everything, and all my things that I complained about kind of are spread out a little bit. So, you know, you don't just get 2 Peter Gabriel songs right off the bat and that's it. You don't hear from Peter Gabriel again. It's spaced out better than that. So it's kind of cool that way. For the most part, though, it is the 3 guys. And don't ask me to name names right now because I know there's Phil Collins. I know there's Mike something, and I know that Peter Gabriel was in there at one point as well. Sorry, I'm not a huge Genesis fan. This and Nursery Crimes, the only 2 albums I own. I do want to get more into Genesis, but I find that I'm a little more Peter Gabriel than I am Phil Collins. Maybe that'll change, I don't know. It's not a comparison thing, it's just the way the music styles were at the time. That's where that is. Alright, Turn It On Again opens up this album. Title track, makes sense. Good way to start off the album. Gets it kicked off in the right gear, a lot of energy, good positive up vibe energy. It's exactly where you want to be at the start of this album. Invisible Touch is one of those songs that I kind of like about. Mama, don't like this one. I want to like this one and I can't like this one. And it's on a multitude of levels. The song itself, there's some really cool experimental elements to it, and I really like that. I really appreciate that. I really like the artistry behind it. I like the experimentation behind it. I like that it really shows that Genesis is very much a prog band, even in the 80s. And I like that they chose to make it one of the singles. However, I just don't care for the song. And it's only been amplified over the years. When I was the first wave of the Howling Odyssey. By the way, while I'm mentioning the Howling Odyssey, there is a link below. That is for my musical endeavors. The first wave of the Howling Odyssey, when I was with my first band there that made up the Howling Odyssey, the lead guitarist, Jay, was a big fan of the song. He used to kind of sing it all the time and whatnot, and kind of mock certain parts of it. Or not mock, but redo certain parts of it and whatnot, to the point where it kind of got really annoying. And then later on, Sean, who is now part of the next wave of the Howling Odyssey, involved Project Zero Hour Prototype, which you can watch the Subject 42 version, which stars Sean. He's a big fan of the song. He used to sing in karaoke all the time, and I really just no. So, and Sean's a good vocalist. I really think Sean is a fantastic vocalist. I just really don't care for the song, and I didn't like his vocals on it either. But moving on from Mama, which, clearly just doesn't work for me. Land of Confusion is up next. Really dig this one, man. It's got some groove in it, man. Some dark groove. That little. I just, gets in that pocket, man. Oh, yeah. And what I really like is they follow something so dark and heavy. Like, I mean, Land of Confusion is dark and heavy. They follow that up right away with I Can't Dance, which, is one of those songs that a lot of people might say killed Genesis. A lot of people used to mock Genesis. I know a lot of people I knew used it to mock Genesis. I love this song. I think it's a great song. This is a song that made me notice Genesis for the first time. And I've tried singing it in karaoke. I have. It's fine. I'm not good at it, but it's fine. That's one thing I should also mention. I think Phil Collins has. I don't understand the love for Phil Collins. I really don't. Because his voice, well, not bad. I mean, he doesn't have a bad voice. He doesn't sound like, say, Bob Dylan. He definitely does not have a voice like, say, Robert Plant. And, well, he doesn't look like Bob Dylan. He doesn't look like Robert Plant. I worked. I had to go with it. So I don't understand quite the love for Phil Collins, but with Genesis I do, not Phil Collins on his own. That is followed up by Follow You, Follow Me. Wow, I'm on a roll there with those. Not a fan of this one. This one's a little too soft, a little too for me. Hold On My Heart also falls on the a little too soft, a little too for me. Abacab. This one's a cool tune, man. This one's a really good one. I really dig this one. This is a Genesis song I did not discover until much later on in my years. And it's really weird because my dad and my stepmom both said they were into Genesis, but the only Genesis album they had was the one that I Can't Dance was on. I don't remember the name of it. Sorry. And it was because it was new at the time when they got their CD player, when I had my CD player, stuff like that. So I know they had that one, but they never, like, I never heard cassettes of it, and cassettes got played in the car regularly when I was a kid, stuff like that. So I'm surprised that I never got to hear that because it was a good tune, man. Um, I Know What I Like in Your Wardrobe. This would be the first song with Peter Gabriel that's on here. I'm pretty sure it's Peter Gabriel, anyways, because it sounds like Peter Gabriel. And it's definitely not Phil Collins. I really dig this song. I really get into it. I really enjoy just the overall tone on this one. Everything about it is just really kind of nice, and it really kind of pops, and I like that it's kind of here in the middle of the album. That's one of the things that really kind of makes it pop that much extra. I don't know if this was because of when this was released. It's marked as 1999. I don't think it would have been balanced for the purpose of vinyl or even balanced for cassette necessarily. CD sales were, doing really well still, but, CD sales were even about to take a hit soon after this. So I'm not entirely sure if this was balanced to go to a side A, side B kind of thing. But I Know What I Like closing out side A, which this feels pretty balanced for that, would be perfect because it is Peter Gabriel that closes out side B for sure as well. Next up, we got No Son of Mine, which really dark, really heavy. I I would definitely say that after I heard this song, this was definitely one of my favorite Genesis songs. Um, I still think it's one of my all-time like of all the Genesis songs I've heard, It's still one of my all-time favorite Genesis songs. I love how dark it is, how heavy it is. The lyrical content to it is something as well that's rather quite wonderful and heart warming, heart wrenching, I guess, not warming, heart wrenching. Uh, does not have any personal value to me that way. I not This is not a reflection of any type of relationship I have with my dad or anything like that. Um, my dad has never said that to me, so there's, okay. Um, but it's just such a powerful song. So, and I know people that have kind of been through this, so it's very strong, very powerful. And then that's followed up with Tonight, 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 which, great, lightens up the mood again, makes it nice and flow really nice, gets a good balance. I'm just not a fan of the song because, once again, we're in a tonight. Now, it has a great sound to it. I think it is wonderful. I think it is well put together. Um, it's just not my type of song. And out of a lot of the slower songs on here, Tonight, Tonight, Tonight might be one of the ones that I kind of dig on a little more than the others. In Too Deep isn't bad. I enjoy it while the album's playing. Congo. Okay, so I'm not. This is the one where I really should have checked ahead of time to see who does the vocals on this one, because it's not Phil and it's not Peter, and I'm assuming it's Mike. Here we go. Hold on. Oh, it's Ray Wilson doing the vocals on this one. That's pretty cool. The vocals, forget the vocals aside, the song itself is really, really cool. It's interesting because when I first bought this album, I also had In Excess going, I had The Cure going, The Cult going, I had The Cult, The Cure, In Excess, a few other ones going kind of in there, that definite 80s kind of sound. And I had Congo in there at the same time, this one in there at the same time with Congo. And usually if I hit, mix or spin or random or whatever, I wouldn't be able to tell. I was confused as to which album this was actually on, and I didn't realize that it was Genesis for the longest time. Because even when I had the album playing through, it just didn't click for some reason, because it's different. It's great. It's good different. Like but it's not the typical Genesis you'd expect. Jesus, He Knows Me. This one's kind of a fun one. I didn't realize that this one had a video. For as much as I watched Much Music back in the day, and I saw a lot of music videos, and watching Much Music formed a lot of my music opinion and stuff like that. I never saw the video for this one, and I didn't know this song even existed until like forever later for some reason. And once again, my dad and my stepmom own the album with this one on it, and I somehow still didn't realize. Yeah. Um, that's all. Meh. I do dig That's All. There's something in the groove on this one that just kind of gets you into the right kind of head frame, kind of the right kind of gear, just right kind of groove. But at the same time, just based on even on this and knowing, different songs and whatnot, this one almost feels a little more, to me, feels a little more Phil Collins than Genesis. And that's goes into Misunderstanding right afterwards. It's got that, there's this thing in the 80s. I mentioned this in one of my previous reviews, where there was a lot of people kind of going after this sound and vibe that uh, has more of a 50s and a 60s kind of hook and groove into it. Uh, Billy Joel's kind of sound, like Misunderstanding and That's All, both kind of feel very much like Phil Collins chasing after Billy Joel or Elton John, because Elton John and Billy Joel kind of had that vibe going back and forth in that time period, and then you got this going on as well, which kind of goes in that pocket, and it just, yeah, that's how those two songs, That's All and Misunderstanding, work for me. Throwing It All Away. All right, well, the album's playing. I don't think of it too much otherwise. And then you got the Carpet Crawlers, which finishes us off, which is, once again, Peter Gabriel's song. And it is a great way to finish off this album. Definitely takes you back to the true experimental prog. It isn't going to be popular experimental prog. The whole way around, I think I would have liked if they would have taken out one or two of the other songs on here and thrown in one or two other Peter Gabriel songs, just for the simple exposure to them. I really do feel that because Peter Gabriel left before the band really took off, really exploded, a lot of the early stuff really gets overlooked. And that is a crime because that makes it hard to know what to get into. Like when I went and picked out Nursery Crime, I picked it up because it was just a cheap, inexpensive album at that time. I think I bought it in the store discount for like 2 for $20, or might even been 3 for $20. I'm not sure, something like that. Like it was a value buy to fill out my collection and check out, because that's how I use value buys in stores now, man. There's no Columbia House anymore, so those are my deals. Okay, that's enough, folks. I've rambled on long enough now. Let me know what you think down below, that in the comments section. On your way down to the comments section, like button, or no, well, yeah, hit those two. The like button, subscribe button, and the bell for notifications, hit those. But also in the description on the way down, link for TWA, Trampoline Wrestling Association. Please go check it out, man. It is good. Second season is in the works right now. First season hasn't even finished yet. You're going to want to check it out. First season's a great little setup. Second season explodes. All right. Once again, like button, subscribe button, bell for notifications. Also, oh yeah, while you're down there with the TWA link, there's also a link for the Howling Odyssey, which is where my music endeavors go. Patreon, which is where you can go to download stuff. And peace, love, take care.